So a question that's been coming up a lot over the last month or so, either here on YouTube or over on Patreon, has been about banjo camps. Am I teaching at any banjo camps? And for the most part, this past year, my life has pretty much been just sitting in this room, playing the banjo, making these lessons, and that's about it, which has been fun. Don't get me wrong, I love doing this, but I do have something much more interesting to announce that's gonna be happening in my life and could be happening in your life as well. Now, before I go on, I do wanna make something clear. This video is about Banjo Summit, a banjo camp that I'm teaching at next week. But I wasn't asked to make this video. I wasn't paid to make this video. In fact, I asked the organizers of Banjo Summit to help me make this video because I'm just really excited to tell you about it. So although this could come off as kind of an advertisement, and I think it benefits everyone involved if people sign up and go to this banjo camp, it's not actually an advertisement. It's really just something I'm excited to tell you about. So by all means, interpret this however you'd like, but it's worth keeping in mind that I kind of just went out of my way to make this for fun. It's really not that I was contractually obligated or even asked to make this video. And you can check out more details about the schedule and how the camp works at the website. But what you really need to know first is that it's happening May 14th to the 16th. It's all online. It's going to have faculty like Wes Corbett, Kristen Scott Benson, Tony Trischka, Bela Fleck, Jake Sheps, Adam Larrabee, Jamie Stone. There's going to be performances from people like Nora Brown, Chris Pandolfi. The Foreign Landers are going to play as well. There are classes about playing jazz on the banjo, playing African music on the banjo, how to improvise on fiddle tunes using chord tones. That's the class that I'm teaching. There's going to be so many interesting classes going on and things that I'm really excited to learn about myself. You see, I actually attended the previous Banjo Summit back in November as a student. And actually, I think everybody really attends as a student. There are people that teach, but everybody that's teaching sticks around and learns from all of the other teachers. It really is a summit. But again, before I go on and on, I just want to make sure you hear from just a few of the people that make Banjo Summit so special in their own words.
The impetus for this camp came from several different kind of points that all came together. When I started playing banjo, I first was inspired by seeing the Flecktones. I went to the Telluride Bluegrass Festival and saw the Flecktones, and I got to see Strength in Numbers. And so I came into the banjo not through bluegrass. There's little bits of kind of more kind of music theory and music education for banjo, but it often is couched or framed in a traditional context. And so I wanted to gather these instructors that are often put in a lineup at a camp as the one person who teaches more contemporary styles, and here's all the traditionalists, and there's one guy, to get all of those people in the same room and have them teach together. So that was part of the impetus. Another thing is that I wanted to create a camp that I wanted to go to as a lifelong student of music.
Well, one of the things I love about the Banjo Summit is that it's a sort of expanded version of what we as banjo players and musicians do all the time, which is get together with one another and say, what are you working on? And, you know, let me show you something cool. And like, let's play this tune that very few people know, but I know that you know. I mean, it's a big open hang for people that have a lot of diverse backgrounds in music and in the instrument and in styles. It was super cool this last online Banjo Summit in December, where we had a whole day of classes and then went to the after hours hang, where of the 100 or so people that were signed up, I think we had almost 80 on that first after hours hang of all ages. And Jamie and I think during that after hours talk, we're talking about some Bach presto, and like 6 people chimed in and said, oh, well, I finger it this way and I finger it this way. And then someone's like, I don't know that piece. Like, what's it from? It's just, it seems like at every point there's many references and many stages of developing different styles of any kind of music. And it's just such a wonderful thing to be able to have a official regular meeting place to talk about these things rather than backstage. Usually it happens backstage at a gig and it's limited to musicians or a festival or something like that. So it's a really wonderful opportunity to hang. I would go to this whether I was involved in it as a teacher or not. It's exactly the kind of place that I want to be to meet the kind of people that are doing the sort of stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah, I think Banjo Summit is a one-of-a-kind experience. It seems like the overwhelming majority of banjo camps are geared toward bluegrass players, which is where I live and breathe. I think Banjo Summit caters to a different audience. That doesn't mean that there's not a lot of things for everybody there. I mean, I certainly, as a pretty straight ahead bluegrass player, learned so much. It's a place to learn about things that if you're a bluegrass player, maybe you're not as exposed to, some different insight and just approaches. A lot of people these days are coming at banjo from other places that it used to be, you heard the Beverly Hillbillies, or then, for me, I went to a bluegrass festival and saw Scott Vestal. Well, now we have people coming at banjo from entirely different backgrounds. So it's not always accurate to assume that the primary bluegrass foundation was the starting point. There's just something so special about getting a bunch of people together who love the banjo as much as you do, and just spending time with those people. I think that cannot be overstated. The way it invigorates us, it rejuvenates us, and it makes us ready to learn, makes us inspired again. I think it's a special thing that you can't really find anywhere else these days.
So this was a really fun thing to put together because I think events like this are really important for banjo players. If we want the banjo to represent more than just one thing in the world and in American culture, then it's going to be really important to hear from a lot of different people about a lot of different interesting ways to use the banjo. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm really just incredibly excited to be a part of it, both to teach, but even more so just to learn and to meet new people and just hang out with other banjo players and talk about the banjo. So if that's something you're interested in, then feel free to check out the link in the description, and I hope to see you there.